For years, people have wondered why Sarah Winchester built a mansion full of stairs and doors that led nowhere. Now, William Shatner, in his words, "Before I die, please listen," has finally revealed the truth about this place. Why is this place mysterious? What really happened inside that house? Join us as we uncover the truth behind the Winchester Mystery House. Secrets and mysteries surrounding the Winchester house. Long before the world heard about Sarah Winchester's strange mansion in California, there were already whispers surrounding the Winchester name. It was a name once tied to success, invention, and power, but also to sorrow, unanswered questions, and things that could not be explained by reason alone. The Winchester legacy was one of brilliance and tragedy, and in time, it would draw the attention of one man who dared to uncover its secrets, William Shatner. For years, stories about the mysterious Winchester mansion had spread quietly. Tales of endless hallways, stairs that led to nowhere, and doors that opened into solid walls. Visitors spoke of ghostly sounds in the night, lights flickering without cause, and rooms that seemed to rearrange themselves. The house was said to be alive, built to confuse the restless dead. But behind those walls was something even deeper, a secret born from grief, guilt, and a family curse. William Shatner, long fascinated by unexplained mysteries, was drawn to the story of Sarah Winchester. He had explored many strange tales in his lifetime, but nothing quite compared to this one. The Winchester story combined death, wealth, and the supernatural in a way that refused to fade, no matter how much time had passed. What began as curiosity soon turned into an obsession, an investigation that would make him question the line between life, death, and the unseen world. To understand what haunted Sarah Winchester, Shatner began by tracing the story back to its source, the creation of the Winchester repeating rifle. It was a weapon that changed history, a legacy of death and inheritance in the late 19th century. One woman's story stood out as both tragic and mysterious. Sarah Winchester, the widow and sole heir to the powerful Winchester repeating arms fortune. Her life seemed like a tale of fortune wrapped in sorrow, filled with loss, wealth, and an unshakable sense of guilt that would soon change the course of her destiny. Sarah Lockwood Pardee was born into comfort and intelligence. She was well-educated, charming, and graceful, admired for her quick mind and gentle manner. When she married William Wirt Winchester, the only son of Oliver Winchester, she entered one of the wealthiest families in America. The Winchesters owned the company that created the Winchester repeating rifle, a weapon that had transformed American warfare. It was famously called the gun that won the West, credited with giving soldiers, hunters, and settlers unmatched power and speed. The rifle made the Winchester family fortune, and later, according to legend, it also made their curse. Sarah's life began to crumble between the years 1866 and 1881. In 1866, her joy as a new mother turned to despair when her infant daughter, Annie, passed away just a few weeks after birth from a rare illness. The loss broke her heart. Sarah never fully recovered from the pain of losing her only child. Her days became quiet and lonely, filled with thoughts of what might have been. 15 years later, in 1881, sorrow struck again. Her husband, William, fell gravely ill from tuberculosis and passed away after years of struggle. Just before that, her father-in-law, Oliver Winchester, also passed away, leaving Sarah as the sole heir to the massive Winchester estate. Within those 15 years, she had lost nearly everyone she loved: her child, her husband, and her father-in-law. The world saw Sarah as one of the richest women in California, but her wealth came with a shadow. She inherited a fortune worth millions of dollars, including half ownership of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. She received a daily income that made her one of the most powerful women in the state. But with every dollar came a haunting thought, that her money was built on death. The Winchester rifle had changed history. Soldiers carried it during wars. Settlers used it to claim new lands. Hunters used it to survive. But every bullet fired took a life. Every rifle sold meant more bloodshed. Many began to whisper that the same rifle that built Sarah's wealth had also cursed her. The spirits of those lives taken by the weapon, they said, would never rest. This belief began to take root in Sarah's mind. Her grief grew heavier as the years passed, and she could not shake the feeling that her family's fortune was tied to tragedy. The silence of her empty home echoed with memories and guilt. In a time when science could not explain sorrow, many people turned to spiritualism, a growing movement that claimed the dead could speak to the living. Spiritualism was especially popular in America during the late 19th century. People who had lost loved ones often gathered at seances, hoping to hear a message from beyond. Mediums and psychics became famous for their supposed ability to communicate with spirits. For someone as broken-hearted as Sarah, this offered both comfort and hope. Desperate for answers, Sarah began to seek help beyond the world she could see. She needed to understand why she had been chosen to bear so much pain and whether her family's success had come with a spiritual cost. She believed that her husband and daughter were reaching out to her, that there was still a connection between their world and hers. This growing belief led her to Boston, where she heard about a man said to have great power, a psychic who could see into the spirit world and speak with those who had passed on. Many claimed he had helped others make peace with the dead. Sarah decided to find him, hoping for guidance, healing, or even forgiveness. Her decision to visit this psychic would become the turning point of her life, one that led her away from her grief and into one of the strangest architectural mysteries in American history. What message would the spirits give her? And how could one woman's sorrow lead to a mansion that defied all logic? The psychic's warning and the curse of the Winchester rifle. Sarah Winchester's journey to find peace brought her to Boston, where she reportedly met a psychic named Adam Coons. She hoped that through him, she could reach her late husband and understand why her life had been filled with so much loss. Sitting in a dimly lit room, surrounded by flickering candles, she sought answers from the world beyond. The message she received was not one of comfort, but of warning. The psychic told her that her life and fortune were tied to a terrible curse, one born from the blood of countless lives taken by the Winchester rifle. According to his vision, the spirits of those lives taken by the weapon were angry, restless, and seeking revenge on the Winchester family. Sarah's husband and daughter, he said, were trapped among these spirits, unable to find peace. The psychic's words struck fear into Sarah's heart. He claimed that the deaths caused by the rifle had created a spiritual imbalance. These souls, taken too soon and too violently, now roamed the earth, searching for the family whose invention had caused their suffering. Unless Sarah did something to calm them, the curse would claim her too. The psychic offered one strange solution. He told her that she must leave her home and travel west, guided by the spirits themselves. Once there, she must build a house, a grand home that would never be finished. As long as construction continued, the spirits would remain confused and unable to find her. But if she ever stopped building, her own death would follow. Sarah listened closely. It sounded unbelievable, yet something about the message felt true. She had lost everything she loved, and the idea of a curse explained the endless sorrow that followed her. She took the psychic's words seriously. If building a house could protect her and perhaps bring peace to the wandering souls, then that was what she would do. Leaving behind her familiar life on the East Coast, Sarah began her journey west. She believed that the spirits were guiding her, whispering directions through her dreams. She eventually arrived in California, where she bought a large piece of land in the Santa Clara Valley, a quiet area surrounded by orchards and open skies. There, she began the task that would define the rest of her life, building a home that would never end. So, when did this building start? And could it really protect Sarah from the curse that haunted her name? The move to California and the endless construction in the year 1884, Sarah Winchester arrived quietly in California, far from the cold and sorrowful halls she had left behind on the East Coast. Her journey was not one of adventure or excitement. It was a flight, a desperate attempt to escape the curse she believed followed her family. She had lost everyone she loved, and now she carried the burden of both grief and unimaginable wealth. With the psychic's warning echoing in her mind, Sarah searched for a place where the restless spirits could not find her. She chose a large piece of land just outside San Jose, a peaceful stretch of farmland surrounded by orchards and open skies. To anyone else, it looked like a place of quiet recovery. But to Sarah, it was to become a spiritual fortress, a place to keep the dead at bay. She purchased the property and immediately began her strange mission, to build a house that would never be finished. Carpenters soon filled the grounds, bringing lumber, nails, and tools by the wagon load. Sarah ordered them to start construction